Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's Bruce here. Welcome one, welcome all to the show. It's the big show with Bruce from Calgary, Alberta. Monday, March the 7th, 2022. Nice to have you all here. I gotta tell you, it's been an interesting couple hours. I took a video of the house that I'm in here, just of the foyer and stuff. And I've been trying to find a way to share it with you, to show it to you, to let you know what this house looks like. Because we're in Calgary now, Jennifer and I. We traveled from Vegas on Thursday to get here, and we're now here for the next couple of months. And our friends told us, "Oh, stay in our house. We're down south. We would just be glad you're there. You can keep an eye on everything for us. That would be fabulous." So this house is 3,500 square feet. This thing's huge, and we're loving it. We're trying to figure out where everything is. It's really fun. Anyway, so I took a video of just the grand foyer. I tried, and I wanted to show you this office that I'm sitting in. And do you think I could find a way to upload it onto my computer? Well, I figured that out, but now I can't get it to go from my computer into StreamYard because they don't talk to each other on the same level. I have no idea what I'm doing. Of course, I'm completely incompetent when it comes to technical stuff. But I will show you this. Here is a video that I shot. It's on my phone, and I'm hoping this will work. I'm going to try to get it to run. Hang on, I'll see if I can get it to run. Is it running? No, come on, run. Here, let's see. Come on now. I can't even make a video run on my own phone. Here it is. All right, let's see if this is working. Is that running? Yes, it is. It's running. Let's see if I can get the whole screen on here. There it is. All right, there's on top of the door is a window up there with the chandelier in the foyer, and then there's there's the grand staircase of the foyer of this house. There you go. Okay, and I'm just trying to show you as much of it as I can without blowing it. Hope you're not getting too sick with all the motion. Here's the grand stairs coming down. There's the floor, and there's the door again, and here's where my office is. Here's the studio right here. Look at this. Fancy dancy. Look at that. And go in there. I got two office chairs. Look at this. Even a pad. I got a pad to sit on. Mercy, mercy, mercy on my poor tushy. And there's my computer and my lamp. And there it is. There's a quick little quickie. You just saw 10% of the house. Gotta thank my friends so much for putting us up here, saying, help yourselves, just enjoy the place, and we're just glad you're there because we don't have to keep sending the kids over every couple of days to check on everything. So beautiful stuff. It's all good, and we're settling in. Our travel up here was crazy. We had a heck of a time. We are such an amazing species. Mankind. We've come up with such incredible inventions. We've come up with incredible ways to make our lives easier. I mean, look at this. I'm talking to you from an office in a house in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm talking to people around the world right now in all kinds of time zones. It's unbelievable. By the way, do me a favor. Tell me where you're watching me from. What's your temperature today? What's the price of gas where you are? I'd like to know. Anyway, we can get from point A to point B now in unbelievable speed, but I'll tell you something. Las Vegas, Nevada to Calgary, Alberta is a 2 hour and 15-minute flight. That's all it is. 2 hours, 15 minutes, okay? Now, if you drive it by car, it's a one-nighter. You drive your 12, 14 hours, grab a hotel, and then the next day you put your 10, 12 hours in, and you're home. That's how you can do it in a car, all right. But on an airplane, in the 80s, what you used to do in the 1980s is you would show up at the airport from a cab, and you would go to the ticket counter where there were human beings to look after your needs. They would ticket your stuff manually. You would hand them paper tickets that they would process manually. They would give you a boarding pass. They would write by hand and out of a little machine manually, and you would then be directed where to go. You'd go through security, you'd be at your gate, and within an hour, you're boarding your flight. You're flying to Calgary 2 hours, 15 minutes later. You clear customs when you get there, and you're done. That used to take a 5-hour time frame. That was the 1980s. That was 40 years ago. 40 years ago is how this worked. It was nothing. It was absolutely a no-brainer for Calgarians to work on a Friday morning, and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon they take off work with their wives and get out of town, head to the airport because they packed a light suitcase that they took to the office with them. They took a cab up to the airport, got on a plane at 3 in the afternoon, were in Vegas by 5:30 in the evening. They were on a casino floor at 6:30, and having a great time Friday night, all day Saturday, and then on Sunday night they'd be flying back. Well, Jennifer and I and our daughter, Jennifer Jr., we can't just go from the hotel today to the airport. Oh, no, you can't do that anymore. Oh, gosh, to come into Canada, you have to have a test now that you still have to get done. The problem with the test is it isn't free anywhere. You have to go and pay for a test. And in Las Vegas, there are 20, 25 places you can go to get a COVID test to get on an airplane. The best part about it is that they charge anywhere from $120 to $150 per person per test to do. So we had to take a cab to a testing center, drop $360 American to get our noses swabbed. 15 minutes later, we had our negative tests. We took our cab there and back, $40 in cab fare, back to the hotel, got our bags, took a $20 cab fare to the airport, and got into the airport. That was step number one. Step number two, now you got to check in. Of course, you do that yourself now. They don't do that for you anymore. You have to do all the checking. You have to scan your passport on a machine. You have to enter the code of your reservation. You have to know all your flight number stuff. Then it spits out bag tags after you tell them how many bags you have. You have to put those on yourself. Then you have to take the boarding pass and now get into a line to see a human being. But it's not that simple because there are only 4 human beings to take care of 150 people. And the 4 human beings are going to only accept at their counter the priority people first. Well, there's like 12 priority people who have a separate line over here. So all those folks get to go first until any one of the rest of us gets to go. And those priority people don't have to do the automated crap over there. These people do it for them at the counter, which takes 4 to 5 minutes per person to do, just like we were trying to figure out on the machines ourselves. So once those guys are done, then they start waving the cattle in, the rest of us, and we now get our bags weighed because we have to put our bags on the scale and find out if they're okay or not. We had a bag at 4 pounds over, so I took 4 pounds of clothing out rather than get nailed $50 extra, and I put the items in another bag, which kept it under the limit. We got through all of that. We then got the green light to go through security. That whole ordeal took over an hour at the airport. It used to be you would check into a line, there'd be 20 agents, and we'd all be done in 15, 20 minutes. Per person. They could really whip through these folks. Not now. They just don't have the manpower to do that. It takes forever. There's an hour. That's why you got to be at the airport 3 hours early, because they're not equipped to handle one plane load of people in an efficient manner. From there, we go to the check-in area. Now, we needed a wheelchair for Jennifer because she has a sore hip. We found one ourselves and got her into it and pushed it ourselves to security. And we got through security. That took 15, 20 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. TSA, very professional, beautifully done, not a problem. After we got all that done, we then go to the gate. And now at the gate, we find that we're already 15, 20 minutes late because of timing. No problem. Anyone can have that. But then we find out half an hour later, our plane is on the tarmac waiting to come to our gate so we can get on the plane. The problem is the plane is full of people and luggage, and it can't find a gate which to park at. This is Las Vegas, McCarran Airport, now known as Harry Reid Airport. It's a humongous airport. There are gates everywhere. The problem with our scenario is the flight to Canada is through WestJet, and they only have leased 2 gates out of all the gates that exist because airlines own the gates. They lease them from the airport. The airport doesn't assign gates to anybody. They lease them for extra upfront cash every year. It's a private system in the United States. So we're standing there waiting an hour. We had to wait for that damn plane to get up to the gate. Then we had to wait an hour for everyone to get off and all the luggage to get off and get the plane cleaned up so we could then go on the airplane. We finally get on the airplane. Jennifer, because she's in a wheelchair, we can wheel her down to the plane itself. She can walk in. But once we sat down, the flight attendant came up to us and said to us, because you need a wheelchair in Calgary, we'll have a wheelchair waiting for you, but you're going to be the last one off the plane. Even though we're in row 5, we were the last one off the airplane in Calgary. So a 2-hour, 15-minute flight later, we land. Then we had to wait 35 minutes for everyone to get off the plane at the very back. Row 27 had to wait for them to get off the plane. Then we could get off the plane. There was the guy with the wheelchair, and then we got to go. Then we had to go 900 feet distant to get to customs. This is a distance Jennifer cannot walk. Thank God for the wheelchair. We get to customs, and thankfully the gal, there's a in this case was a female, didn't have to be female, could be a male or female, but the gal that we met was from Canada Border Services, had the uniform on, saw us with the chair and said, you guys can go through that line over there. You don't have to go through the line where all the passengers are. Because we noticed where all the passengers are. There were 150 to 200 passengers waiting in line to go through 10 customs agents, immigration agents. We got to go through the crew line. So we went to the crew section. There were machines waiting for us that we had to fill all our stuff in again, hand it to the individual immigration officer. 2 minutes, we were all cleared. 3 of us, myself, Jennifer, and Jennifer Jr. Now we're through customs. We're thinking, this is it. We're here. We're in Calgary. Now we go to the baggage area, wait for our bags to come out. There's 4 bags that we're waiting for. In 15 minutes, we got 2 of them. 15 minutes later, we got the 3rd one. And then we stood there for 45 more minutes, and it never came. The 4th bag never came out. Everyone else had come and gone, and it was getting kind of quiet around there. And finally, we went to the airline and said, no bag. It didn't come out. They put in a claim for the bag, put in the search, and miraculously, the gal behind the counter with this incredible computerized system just going, oh, yeah, your bag is in Vegas. It never made the flight. We were there 3 hours early. It never got on the airplane. And they knew it the whole time. No one informed us. They could have informed us. They never informed us. That flight, that bag, they were waiting for us to claim it. So now we had to fill out customs forms because you can't just put in a form for the bag and get it. It has to come to Calgary, to Canada, it has to be cleared through customs, and then it's released to us. Thankfully, the airline's going to deliver it at their expense to our house. We got the bag Friday night at 1:30 in the morning. That's when the doorbell rang, and I had to get dressed and go downstairs and open the door and get the bag and let the guy go and go back to bed. That's how utterly ridiculous it is to now travel. Not that everyone has a baggage problem every single time, but it can happen. But this is now the modern world of air travel, and it is completely screwed up because we have put in so many layers of crap between the actual passenger, the airplane, and the flight. Before getting to the plane and getting off the plane, the paperwork, the security, the double checking, the whatever else, it is so ridiculous that it is a non-enjoyable experience anymore. I didn't see anyone with a happy face in those airplanes. I didn't see anyone with a happy face at the airports. It is misery. It is absolute misery. The people who work there are miserable because they're minimum wage or close to minimum wage people. They're treated like crap. They're told that we are terrorists and that none of us can be trusted with anything we ever say and do. We have no rights with regards to our comfort, what have you. Then there's us who are upset with all the rigmarole we have to go through. The airlines who are making $5 a passenger, $10 a passenger on every flight when it's all averaged out with all the expenses they're running. There is nobody happy. There is nobody happy whatsoever. Welcome to the airline business and traveling by air. And this was a 2-hour and 15-minute flight from Calgary to Vegas, the adult playground of North America. Absolutely unbelievable. And of course, we as Canadians are completely screwed over by the testing sites because they know you need a test to get back into your country, and we're all the same price all over town. There's no discount for you guys. You got to pay. And our flight was $250 to fly from Vegas to Calgary. I had to pay 120 more just to get my nose swabbed on top of that flight and the cab ride on top of that. Absolutely a ripoff, absolutely hijacking. And is it any wonder Canadians are going, what's the point? What I'm paying taxes. I'm just paying taxes and fees. I can't get anywhere. And so more of us are driving. If we get the chance, we drive. We do not want to fly. Of course, a lot of Canadians have taken it upon themselves to drive across the border in various parts of Canada, like Vancouver into Seattle, Toronto to Buffalo, Montreal into various parts of New York and others, to fly from the United States and fly back to the United States and drive back into Canada, because the Canadian costs for a Canadian are outrageous. I took a look at an air flight for Jennifer and I go to Europe and back, and we were thinking about a flight from Calgary to London, London to Rome, maybe a week later. Then a month or so later, or 3 weeks later, Rome to Berlin, maybe Berlin to London. We were trying to figure out kind of a little flight pattern within Europe, then back to Heathrow, and then back to Canada. We were looking for a 6-flight deal. I was looking for a 6-leg flight, one after the other, the same airlines if at all possible, to try to find a deal. And the best pricing I could come up with was about $1,900 a person, plus $1,000 in taxes and fees on top of that. 50% additional charge for all the crap at each airport and each country that wants their slice of the action. It is absolutely a massive, massive cash grab. The airlines are getting a smaller chunk of the gross amount. The numbers that are now being quoted to more and more average travelers, it's just insanity. It's absolute insanity. And it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, because oil is now $120 a barrel. Jet fuel has doubled in price in the last 6 months. This is going to be a nightmare for travel going forward. And of course, more people will want to travel. And so now you add that on top of everything else. It is quickly becoming something that the poorer folks in this world will never be able to do. It has become almost impossible, and it's just getting worse. And yet, millions of people want to go on a trip if only they could afford it. And with now these 3-hour 3-hour advance, you got to be at the airport before you get on the plane. This is a living hell. It's absolutely so stressful, unbelievably stressful. The night before, the morning of, getting to there, being there, relieving, just having a breath of exhaling once you're in your seat, hoping the plane leaves the gate, and then the flight itself, which is stressful for a lot of people who are nervous of flying, and then all the stress when you get to the next airport and getting out of there. It is just a not fun experience anymore. And it's really sad, isn't it? It's just unbelievable. And yet we all want to go on a cruise so much, and we all want to get going, and we have to tolerate this. And we're the customer. We're the ones who are supposed to be the bosses of this thing. This is a system built for us. It's not working for us. Doesn't seem to work for us very well at all. It is. I find more and more people who are not happy with travel, and it's amazing how this works. Welcome to the show. I wish it were a happier show. Welcome all. Thank you for joining us. Tell me where you're watching me from. What's your temperature today? Have you got winter or summer where you are? What is the price of gas where you are? Here in Calgary, we are right now, temperature-wise, if I can hit the right button on my phone, it'll be so simple. We're right now at 19 Fahrenheit, and it is snowing outside, I think, or it's going to be snowing. The sun is just setting here. Our sunset now is 6:27. It is 6:19 local time. And we're going down tonight to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow's high will be 21. We'll be getting a high of 19 on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're back to 27, Friday, 41, Saturday, 45. So thankfully, mid 40s, that is melt city around here. Everything melts around here with those kinds of temperatures. And hopefully, we'll get warmer from there in the next few weeks as we approach April. But it's only March 7th, and at any time, we could get 3 feet of snow and a blizzard. So we're not out of it around here. Welcome, all of you. Ken Koreka is here. Hi, Ken and Janet from Saginaw, Michigan. The temperature is 32 degrees with an expected overnight low of 22 degrees. Gasoline is now clearing $4.26 a gallon for regular unleaded. Good evening. Welcome, you guys. Sharon, hey, Bruce, and TW family. Long time no see. Ms. M, hey, Bruce, how are you? Gas 209 a liter. Gasp. I'm thumbs up number 6 for you, buddy. I have put on thumbs number 6. If you can give us a thumbs up tonight, tell me what number you are. That would really help us. We'd know how many thumbs ups we're getting. We are at 209 a liter. That means that would be $7.40 plus 40 more. 780 Canadian for a US gallon of gas. And that would be about $5.50 a gallon American, approximately. Ms. M, that's unreal. Hello from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, and that makes sense. Maple Ridge, it would be expensive there. Stephen is here. Stephen Siderman, anyone on the NCL Epic for March 2027, let me know. Kevin Chapman, the place you go looks awful. It looks cold. Hope you get back to the sunshine soon. 70 degrees here in central New Jersey today. Gas $4.25 a gallon. Wow. Jeannie, hello again, Bruce. Bill and Jeannie are back for the big show. Thank you so much for being here from East Tennessee. Nikki, greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. Ann Rogers, hi, Bruce, Ann and Brent, Ancaster, Ontario. Number 13 and number 16 thumbs ups. Temperature 1 degree Celsius, about 34 Fahrenheit. Lee Shearer, welcome. Boca Raton, 84. That's where all the good people live. Marielle Levesque, hi there, TWB family. Hello there. Terry Gallant, rain, sleet, 0 Celsius, and $1.79 a liter. Yikes. Terry in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Some beautiful people live in Fredericton. Oh, what a great place. Kit Kat, hi, Bruce and everybody. 48 degrees in Massachusetts right now. I paid $3.79 a gallon when I filled up on Saturday, and those days are gone for a while. I think you're going to be over 4 now. Space Force Cooks, hello there. Thumbs ups. Are you having a fear of missing out from not being on the Wonder of the Seas with the other vloggers today? Tony, Don, Jay, next time can't let them have all the fun. Are they on that inaugural cruise? Because they had a sprinkler problem on that ship. I'll talk about that in a minute. Robert, hi, Bruce. I paid $4.59 for gas in Boston. And Rogers gas here is $183.9 a liter. Here it's $156 at your local store, local gas station. If you go to Costco, it's $145. And on Friday, Jennifer and I we went to Costco to do some shopping, got our food that we wanted. We were thinking of getting gas. We saw the lineup. We thought, no way, we're not going to get gas here at the line. It's a 1 hour wait to get gas at Costco prices. We drove a half a block, got gas for 2 cents a liter more. We paid a total of 7.5 cents a gallon more to not wait in line an hour. I thought it was worth the price. And so that's what we did. Mr. T, hey, Brucey boy, just checking in to say hi. Hope you and Jen are doing well, man. Yorkshire, United Kingdom, right here, 1 below Celsius. Lovely stuff. Oh, and $1.50 and rising per liter. That is pounds per liter, $8.96 US per gallon equivalent. Oh my God, and rising, I am sure. And so you guys can stop whining about it. There you go. Welcome, Mr. T. Space Force. I'm in Los Angeles County. Cheapest gas, $5.17 a gallon for 87 octane at the local Costco. At noon, the gas station line was a half a mile down the public road. Most gas stations are around $5.79 a gallon, approaching $6 in California. Incredible. Brittany is here. Hello, Mrs. Brittany Anderson. Hi, Bruce, and all work. I'm walking very well with the boot. Very good, Brittany. She's coming back. My pain is basically completely gone, but I do still have some minor pain from time to time. Way to go, gal. You're coming back. Monteval. Hey, Bruce, I'm from Southfield, Michigan. Gas paid $4.49 for gas today. Brittany, I had a similar issue with luggage not making it on a flight. Isn't that frustrating? Amicus, all for your convenience. Yay! Hey, Ms. M, you are so right about travel issues and procedures. How was your blood pressure? Mine would be through the roof. I know what you mean. Ms. M, BS traveling to San Diego in 2 weeks. Amicus, my kingdom for a horse. Sylvia, hello, Sylvia Swan. Hi, Bruce. Half a tank of gas, $30. 2004 CRV gas price, $3.89 a gallon in Greensboro, North Carolina. Welcome, Sylvia. Brittany Anderson, I have been very busy with making chocolate chip cookies today. Made a total of, I think, 7 dozen, most of which are going to my orthopedist. They are homemade, but not made from scratch. They sound pretty good to me. Horse and carriage, says Amicus. Terry, fuel surcharges are making a comeback soon. Don't be surprised if cruise lines sneak in a rider that if the crude hits a certain price, $10, $15 a day per passenger will be charged to onboard account. I think it'll happen at any time. Space Force, Brittany, I don't believe you. I'll give you my address so you can ship me some of those cookies to prove me otherwise. Just joking. Louise, I understand what you're saying, Bruce. No traveling for me at all. I am now too poor to travel, Bruce. However, I still am cooking. Stephen, Jefferson, Indiana, 45. I need some gas money. $4.25 a gallon. It's 45 degrees. Welcome, Stephen. Lindo Mouse, gas $4.18 regular. Mike Bush, start a day 70. Currently 34 degrees. It's cooling off. Gas price $3.80 a gallon. Robert Bland, Bruce, my next cruise is just down the street out of Boston Harbor to Bermuda. No plane ride needed. Thank God for that. I'm taking Amtrak to Florida for my cruise, says Sylvia. It'll be a long 13 hours, but I will sit back and grab a glass of wine and relax. Laughing out loud. Bring your own wine, Sylvia. Don't buy wine on the train. Bring your own. Number 30 thumbs ups. Thank you, Sylvia. Jim Thomas, 69 degrees and drops to 34 tonight. $4.89 a gallon here and is rising. Amicus, 73 degrees. Spring Hill, $4.20 a gallon. In California, says Jim, that's my price. Dinser, AVI. ARI, yeah, how come you're not on the Wonder of the Seas? Why should I be on the Wonder of the Seas? There's enough wonderful YouTubers on the Wonder of the Seas. They can tell you everything about the ship. I just got back from Las Vegas with Jennifer, and we're looking now to go to Europe, but that's the big question. Can we do this? Coming back from Florida to Raleigh, North Carolina, August, I will have a roomette, and again, I will enjoy a glass of wine and relax. Sylvia, I think you need to take a box of wine with you. You're going to need a big one. If you got your own roomette, you can really relax and enjoy. Bruce Kirk from New York City is here, and I'm still working. Hang in there, buddy. Anita Baker here in the middle of Tennessee. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit and raining. Gas is $3.79 at the present, and I am thumbs up number 35. Thank you, Anita, for being here. Rocky, I'm number 22. Gas is $4.24. I got 81 today, 81 degrees today. East Virginia right now, 73. Spaceport with fuel surcharges. They certainly can charge their passengers anytime, yet the fuel contracts are negotiated far in advance. We'd most likely need several months of high oil prices for fuel surcharge. We'll hope for the best. Mr. T, throwing a thumbs up to you, buddy. Nikki, a laugh out loud. I'm old enough to remember dressing up to fly on an airplane. Heels and gloves, not anymore. The world turns. That's right. That is correct. The passengers used to be the men in suit and ties, the women in wonderful dresses, heels. Absolutely, you got dressed up to go on a flight. John, hi, Bruce. Filled up today at $3.78 a gallon in Burlington, Iowa, 28 degrees, and barges are going by on the Mississippi. Ron is in the house. Question, did you see all the Carnival Celebration 50-year anniversary stuff today? Didn't really look into it today. Space on planes, hard enough to get people to wear a mask. I could only imagine how hard it would be for flight attendants to enforce a dress code. Oh, no. Vimo, I'm 37 degrees, gas 567. Thumbs ups, man. Thank you so much for the support. All of you who are throwing us thumbs up, so appreciative of that. We appreciate it. It helps the channel get discovered by others, and we love you for it. I have some news for you on the cruise side of things. Wonder of the Seas, mentioning by the by, it is the inaugural cruise of the Wonder of the Seas, and they have had an incident. The sprinkler system on board the Wonder of the Seas, located in the Grand Concourse, Grand Promenade Way. What's that? That would be deck 5, maybe something like that. Deck 6. The sprinklers went off. Down the whole promenade, the sprinklers went off. They weren't supposed to go off. There was no fire. They went off, and the crew figured out how to turn them off. And then they sent in the mop-up crew, and they mopped it all up, and they checked for leaks on various other decks. That was quite the christening, wouldn't you say, on the old Wonder of the Seas. Unbelievable. It happens. News out of Norwegian, however. Norwegian has announced that they're raising their gratuity charges. They're going to charge more on the daily tipping. If you are in a balcony or lower class, which is 85% of the ship, by the way, 85% are balcony or lower, you're now going to go from 15.50 to $16 a day in higher tip charges, 50 cents a day per person. So it's two of you, it's $1 a day more, $7 a week. It's not too outrageous. The Haven, if you're in the Haven, it's going from 18.50 to $20 a day per person. That's $1.50, $3 a couple a day. And if you're in something called the Club Balcony, it's going to be $18 a day. At the moment, if you're on Royal Caribbean, balcony or lower, you're looking at 14.50 a day, and if you're in the higher grade rooms, you're paying 17.50 a day. On Carnival, basic accommodation, it's 13.99 a day. For the higher end on Carnival, it's 15.99 a day. Those have not yet been announced to go higher, but you can count on it. Now that Norwegian has made the first move, you know what's coming next. These two cruise lines are not going to take long to up their daily gratuity rates as well. That was from those guys. Viking, they announced news today. They have announced that their Mississippi River cruise ship, their first of several that they're building, the Mississippi Viking, or Viking Mississippi, whatever they're calling it, the Viking Mississippi, touched water today for the very first time. It's come out of the ship building dock, their area. It's now in the water and will now be completed with all of its finery. 386 guests will be eventually sailing on that river ship. They'll be sailing from destinations as far south as New Orleans and as far north as St. Paul. And the first cruise is June 22. That is estimated to start, and they're hoping for this season to get 7,500 people on that ship for this year, and next year they're estimating something like 14 to 15,000 per year after that. And I know an additional single ship is being built. At least one other, might be two additional, have been ordered by Viking. Those are the river cruise ships. Now, we already know that they also are building out and have just finished the first of their expedition ships. These are the ships that are going to go to the Arctic, the Antarctic, and they're going to sail in the Great Lakes in the summertime. Those ships are coming along. One is already out, and a second one is now under construction. I think a total of 3 or 4 of those have been commissioned by Viking. So those will be interesting to watch for. I'm sure they'll be very, very popular. Sylvia, Nikki Singleton, I remember when people used to dress up to fly. Robert, Bruce, did you make any money in Vegas? What hotel would you recommend in Vegas? Oh my gosh. I got to tell you, we stayed at the Luxor in Vegas. Now, I'll give you the positives and the negatives. How about that? All right. We had obviously, like everyone else, you pre-book a room, obviously. We shopped for a hotel room for Vegas. Now, we arrived on the Monday, and we're staying Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. We checked out Thursday. Okay. I did that on purpose because I knew that if we went on the weekend, it would be much more expensive. We knew that during the week it would be cheaper. That's number one. Number two, I was looking for a room that would fit Jennifer and I and would allow me to do my work on my computer here for my other channel, because I go live twice a day on the other channel. I wanted to be able to do my work. And I didn't want to be in one room with Jennifer because I get up very early in the morning, and that would not be a good thing. So I was looking for a hotel room with a divider, a bedroom, and then a separate room for my area. So, of course, I shopped all the hotels in Vegas through Expedia.com and other methods to find out what hotels had the best deals for the largest rooms they've got. And as it so happened, the Luxor happened to offer the best deal for a large room. Now, we had originally found a room in what's known as the West Tower, because the Luxor has its pyramid hotel. They have that pyramid building, and then they have 2 regular towers. They look like giant apartment buildings. And we were in one of those in a 700 square foot room. That's what we were expecting. And that's kind of like a 1-bedroom kind of a unit. It's a bedroom, bathroom off to the side. Then there's a kind of a living area with a kitchenette and a little dining area. That's usually what these are. We had reserved that, and that came in at a pretty good price. That came in at something like $130 a night. Like, it was really cheap. We get to the hotel. We're in line to check in, and they said to us, "Oh, we've upgraded you." Oh, upgraded us. We've put you into a room here in the Luxor in the pyramid. We've put you in on the 29th floor. There's only 30 floors. We got you in a sub penthouse. No additional charge. We're going, oh, great. It's a larger unit. Fantastic. So we get up to the unit, and here's the situation. All right. The Luxor was originally built in about 1990 or so, 88 to 91, in that range. So we're now talking a 30 something year old property. To go up to the room in the Luxor, the elevators are in the corner of the pyramid. You can't have pyramids in the middle. You can't have an elevator in the middle of the pyramid. It's hollow up to a certain level. The elevators are located at the corners. So it's a long walk from the corners to the middle of the casino floor and all that sort of stuff. But okay, we trudged our way over to there. And the elevator doesn't go straight up because the pyramid is built at a 38-degree angle on four sides. See? Like this. So the elevator has to go up at a 38-degree angle. But the floor of the elevator that you're standing in is flat. But what you don't feel is gravity pushing you straight down. You feel gravity pushing you off at an angle because the elevator is going up the side of the corner of the roof, corner of the building, all the way to the top. It's a unique thing. Again, it's 30 years in existence. It's been around for a long time, obviously, and it works. But it was kind of weird. Anyway, okay, so we got to the top, to our 29th floor, and we went into our room. And the hotel room was large. It was very large, 1,000 square feet approximately. I figured that had we been there during Super Bowl week, we would have paid dearly for it. It would have cost us an out-and-out fortune. Thankfully, we didn't do that. I'm just desperately seeing if we have any kind of a photo of it. I don't have a photo in my camera about the room. We had a bathroom in the just off from the lobby, our little atrium. Then we had a little kitchenette bar area. Then we had a dining table. Then we had a living area. Then we had a separate bedroom, and that had the bed in it, and then had its own ensuite bathroom. Very roomy, no complaints. But the one side of the unit had the angle of the roof. It had the roof doing this. So you're standing like this, and the roof is like that. And so there's all this space down here you can't go to the bottom of the floor here. You're standing, you have to watch your head because you can bonk your head onto the side. And there are all these pillars that are support pillars, and you don't want to hit your head on the corner of one of those. You'd cut yourself. So that took away some of the footage, but we weren't complaining. It was fine. It was fine. But the room, I have to admit, was tired. It looked like it needed a reno. And so I can understand why they're charging so little, but I can also understand that they're trying to get the room filled, the hotel filled with anybody, because there was very little going on in Vegas at this time. We were happy. The room worked, the internet worked, it was fine. And Jen slept every morning, no problem. I didn't interrupt her, and we got the job done. That was actually the good part. The rest of the Luxor was incredibly expensive. Jennifer and I, one morning, went to the buffet for breakfast. $26.99 a person for the buffet. And all we ended up doing was getting scrambled eggs, hash browns, a couple of sausages, and a piece of toast. And coffee, we had to get ourselves. They didn't serve us coffee at the table. We had to bring it ourselves. And the coffee came out of a giant machine that had syrup coffee. It's syrupy coffee that is concentrated, and they add hot water to it. It's in a plastic cup. And you walk with your plastic, an actual plate, but no trays. You have a plate and your cup, and you have to walk 150 feet to your table, way the heck over there. And if you really want to go back for seconds, it's a whole long walk. You can't have a second bowl of fruit or anything because that is impossible to carry. No cream for your coffee. No real cream for your coffee. All artificial ingredients. So it's either this powdery, coffee mate stuff, or it's artificial cream of some kind. There is no actual cream for your coffee. This is $26.99 a person. $26.99 a person, plus taxes. Obviously. The buffet had a few pieces of fruit. Yeah. There was breakfast only, no ham. There was bacon and sausage. There were omelets that you can have made. We had to wait in line. There were pancakes pre-made. There were waffles pre-made, but they were only warm. They weren't hot. The syrup for the pancakes or the waffle was thick corn syrup. It wasn't even. It was really the lowest possible grade of products they could possibly find. They utilized, and the least amount of prep work they had to do, they used. They did. They attempted to deliver a breakfast buffet in the cheapest format possible, and I can tell you the quality was not even as good as a Denny's. It's not even as good as a Denny's, because at Denny's they serve you, they pour you the coffee, and it's hot. Everything's hot. My coffee was warm. My meal was warm by the time I got it to the table. It was worth $4.99 a person. It was a $4.99 buffet from 40 years ago. That's all this was. $26.99. The restaurant down there looked old and tired, like it had seen way better days. Not good. The staff tried to smile and be pleasant, but they were hating their lives. They hate their lives. They're all unionized, and they're all just unappreciated by management, because management and unions in the United States, this is their relationship. It is very difficult, and it was really depressing. The only buffet we went to, we will never, ever do that again. We know we paid $50 too much for breakfast. That was breakfast. We did go to their breakfast cafe twice, and it was passable in that the service was good. The staff was very well trained, and they were very good at their jobs, and they were under a lot of pressure with a lot of people eating breakfast at about the same time. They did a wonderful job. No problem whatsoever. The prices were double what you would expect them to be. Again, $25 for a breakfast to have it served to you. So the first morning I had scrambled eggs, bacon, and a couple sausage links, some hash browns, and I had a bit of a waffle, like a half a waffle or a waffle, and that was $26 delivered to my table. Same price as the buffet, but better than the buffet. But I'll tell you, you do that, 3 breakfasts, that's like $60 with tax. It's $180 for 3 breakfasts to start your day. We skipped lunch because we had breakfast later in the morning, so we didn't have to have lunch, thankfully. Dinner now was the question. Now, in the Luxor, they had a sports bar that surprised us pleasantly. The food quality was exceptional. The service was beyond above, really good. They really put out for the customer. I was impressed. And I had ribs. They were great. Jennifer had fish and chips, loved it. Jennifer Jr., I can't remember what she had, but she loved it too. We had a good meal. We were very pleased with that. Then the second night we were there, we went to the Mirage. We wanted to see the Beatles show, the Love show that the thing with the Beatles. I had seen that show about 8 or 10 years ago. Loved it then. Wanted to see it again. To me, it's all about the music. It's Cirque du Soleil putting on the show, and it's impressive. It's spectacular, but I'm so old now that there's only so much you can do to get me to go, what? But the music is what it's all about. We paid a fortune for our tickets. You have to buy online, and you have all these taxes and fees you have to pay. The seats themselves were supposedly $100, but I think by the time we were done, it was $180 per person to see this show. And I know that $80 went to the state of Nevada, to the ticketing entity that handles the tickets. It is a ripoff in that sense. It's really frustrating. But there's no way around it that I'm aware of unless you have connections. I don't have connections. It was only three quarters full. The audience was only three quarters full. So that told me how quiet things were. They only did the one show on Tuesday night. Normally they have two shows a night, but Tuesday only one show. We also noticed little things. We could tell watching the performers that they were short about 10 performers. They didn't have the full cast during the show. They were skimping on how many performers were performing for us. You could tell, could instantly figure it out. And so we realized we were getting the three quarters performance for the three quarter house. And they knew the days before how many people would be at that show. And they cut back how many performers would be on that show to cut the costs down, which tells me if there are 10 fewer people on the floor performing, there are probably 5 to 10 people fewer behind the scenes as well. And that's a 20-person cutback at, I don't know, $150 a person per day. Is it $3,000 they saved by not putting on that many people? I can't predict. But we saw things on the show that were a little thin. It was a little thin here and a little there. If you've never been there before, you'd have been blown away. You'd have been blown away, and you go, wow, this is great. And it is great. But we kind of knew that we were getting 80% of what we paid for because there were no discounts for our seats. We paid full price and more. That was interesting. Before the show, we had gone to a steakhouse inside the Mirage called Stack's. Don't know if you've ever been to it or not. I would highly recommend it, but bring a lot of money. It wasn't cheap. I ended up with a bone-in ribeye steak. They called it the cowboy steak. $70. And all you got was the piece of meat. You want a potato with that? You want broccoli with that? You want mushrooms with that? Those are extras, $13 a side. So broccoli was $13. Sauteed mushrooms, $13 more. So my meal on my own, had I only had that myself, would have been $100. Jennifer Jr., she had a filet mignon, and hers was $65. So we shared the sides together. Jennifer had a bowl of tomato soup. She loved it, and also it came with oh gosh, what do you call it? And you fry two pieces of bread with cheese in the middle on a pan. Grilled cheese sandwiches. There it is. Boy, I can't get that word out. She had two little miniature grilled cheese sandwiches with it. That were they cut the crust away, and it was presented really nice. Jen loved it because that's all she was hungry for. She had eaten a little earlier. She wasn't as hungry as Jennifer Jr. and I were. So we were very happy with it. The quality was top notch. It was well done. We were not upset with the quality. The pricing, however, to get out of there, it was over 200 American dollars for the three of us, and only two of us actually had a meal. And so that was, again, a wake-up call about what has happened in Vegas in the last 20, 30 years that has completely changed Vegas out from what it once was, a really great weekend hangout place for couples to get away from it all. It has now become an expensive experience. And in many cases, it's not worth it. So that was the evening. We enjoyed Mirage. We cabbed it back and forth. And that was all right. But the bargain was the room, as far as the room goes. But you have to eat, you have to transport yourself. We had to get a test on the way out of town. You want to do something. You go to the casino floor. I didn't make any money in the casino. Jennifer didn't make any money, and Jennifer Jr. didn't make any money. We were losing money everywhere we went. I did not see. In the 3 days I was there, not that I was on the floor for hours and hours and hours, I did not hear or see any kind of woohoo, I won $1,000. There were no winners of a jackpot of any kind. And I'm thinking $1,000 jackpot or a $2,000 jackpot used to be all the time. You'd hear that. It would be exciting on the casino floor when someone won $1,000. They spent $500 and got $1,000, but their wife lost $800. I mean, there was none of that. Nobody won money. I didn't see any floor techs In my day, when I went to Vegas in the 80s, and you might remember back in the 80s and the 90s, you would be on the casino floor and there would be these floor technicians who had these keys to the machines, and they would be handling the payouts. Whenever you had a payout of over $500 or whatever, you had to be paid out by hand. I didn't see them. I didn't see any of them anywhere. I only saw personnel for the casino behind the cage over there handling money. I didn't see anyone handing out money to any winning better. Nowhere, nothing. So it's money in and no money out. Tickets, you get tickets out, of course, and you can go to a machine and cash in a ticket. And I think it's good for, I don't know, up to $500, $800. They're good for that. But I didn't see anyone win 1,200 or more and have to do a tax thing. None of that. It was absolutely none of that. It was really interesting to note that. And talking to one of the cab drivers, he was a really good guy. I would love to have him as a guest on my channel. This guy had stories. This guy had stories. He was a university kid. He went to university in Las Vegas when he first got there at age 19 or 20. And he was a cab driver for a while. Then he was a valet. Then after he graduated with a degree in business of some kind, he stayed in Vegas, met his wife in school. They got married after a few years, stayed in Vegas the whole time, the kids and everything. And he ended up working for Caesars. He was in the executive offices in Caesars. And 6 months before COVID hit back in 2019, late 19, Caesars and there was a merger and an amalgamation of a number of casino companies. And he got bought out. He was now no longer part of the crowd anymore. With 20 years experience, he didn't have enough to keep his job, and they bought him out. Today, he goes, the best thing ever to happen to me. I'm 50 years old. I got a bunch of dough to walk. I got all my retirement benefits. I got a year of health care and everything else. My wife has a business in downtown Vegas that was not affected by the COVID. And now I drive cab again. He says, I have a stress-free life. I'm driving taxis 4 days a week. He's making like $200 a day. He's a happy guy, doesn't have any stresses, has his retirement plan. His wife is working 2 more years, and then she's retiring. And they're happy, happy, happy because the kids are about to graduate and be gone. And that's going to change their lives. But he was telling me about the changes in Vegas, and we were comparing notes because I had been in Vegas starting in 86. And he went to school starting in 89. And so we got to talk about the evolution of Las Vegas as it turned from what it was to what it is now. And he said, Bruce, the big problem here, the big change happened in the last 15 years. Every casino has become unionized. So the room cleaners are part of the union. The dealers are all unionized. The waitress and the waiters and the staffs are all unionized. The cage workers are unionized. The front desk people are union. They're all part of a union now, and nobody crossed the streams. You can't be assigned within the hotel to help out with this division or that division because we got a big convention coming this week. There's none of that. You stay in your slot and you do the job you have, and that's all you do. He says morale in the toilet. People have no incentive to work any harder. There's no upside for you. You're here for seniority only. That's the only thing that'll keep you around is seniority. The longer you've been here, the better chance you get to keep your job if there's a slowdown. You haven't been here that long, you're going to be furloughed. He said it's all different. The hardest workers used to get the ones promoted, the guys who showed up on time, the guys who weren't drunk, the guys who didn't give the boss a hard time, the employees that wanted to train and become better, become managers, became managers. Now it's all different. It's a complete destruction of morale. Every casino is exactly the same as the other casino. Go into any casino in Vegas, the machines are all the same. There's no uniqueness anymore. It used to be so different property to property. You want to book a room? You can't book a room, compare one hotel to the other anymore. It's almost impossible. There's only 3 or 4 casino companies left. They own 80% of everything. There are very few independent properties left. And so in order for you to get a deal now, you have to go when there's a slow time. If there's convention in town, you pay through the nose. It is completely closed off from where it used to be. And yet they don't make any more money. They don't make any more money on the bottom line because the people who go are unmotivated to spend money because they're not having a good time like they used to have a good time. It's not the same anymore. They advertise it as Vegas, but it isn't a Vegas. It's not the same as it once was. And so that's my take on this 4 day, 3 day adventure. Is all it was. Nikki, Sylvia, you are smart to take the train. We have taken Amtrak from Jacksonville to Florida. FFL much more pleasant than driving on the I-95. Brittany, I am 4 weeks out from having broken left foot. Might be okay to wear a full pair of tennis shoes later this week, or next week, or in 2 weeks. Oh, I sure hope it's going to happen for you, Brittany. Please, Jason. Hello from Lakeland, Florida, where the gas is expensive and the weather is getting hot. Are the vaccine mandates ever going to go away on Carnival? I do not know. Sylvia, Nikki, flying puts me on edge. Laugh a lot. I will fly, but I'm not a happy camper about it. And the way these people are fighting on planes about masks, no, thank you. Cat J, Vior, I have no idea what that means. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Benway. Sharon, you should have gone to the Golden Knights game instead. That would have been impressed you. Next time, if we do a 1 night or 2 nighter, if I can get there for a game, I'd love to do it. I'd love to see a football game. Love to see the inside of that stadium. Love to do that. Frumler, Ms. Matsai is a Russian cruise ship. Says built 2000. It looks basic compared to cruise ships, but elsewhere in the world today, poor Russian government parties spending money on other things. Sylvia, Bruce, were the elevators on the outside of the building? No, they were on the inside. So you were riding up on a tilt. Could you see the outside or inside of the hotel? No. You were in a closed container, closed elevator, just like any other elevator. The doors closed. We went up. But what I noticed was another sign that the hotel is getting tired. As the elevator was going up, it was jiggling, just jiggling a little bit. That's a sign of an old elevator. And the doors were rattling. Just all the way up, and it was slow. It wasn't a fast express elevator. Just little things that just tipped you off. This property is aging out. Lisa, we're going on Anthem of the Seas in May out of Southampton. Do you think the masking on board will be lifted by then? When? By then? By May. I know they have lifted the mask mandate here in the U.S. Europe might not. They might go longer. We'll have to see. Although UK, they have lifted restrictions. You might be okay. Kevin didn't win big when we were in Vegas in January, but his time at the poker room was a time I needed to edit and post photos. Right on. Brittany, fantastic show, Bruce. I love hearing your stories. Thank you, Brittany. Bullcraft. Hi, Bruce. Hope all is well. Chase the truth #2 ratio. I don't know what that means either. All unionized and pay for order flow. There you go. Pay for order flow. Yeah, it's completely different. I remember when I first went to Vegas in 1985, I was about 29, 30 years of age. And it was just the end. The mob time had ended in the last 5-10 years. By 85, there wasn't much of a so-called mob mentality left. Now, those movies, Ocean's 11 from 1963 with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and Joey Bishop, those guys. That was 1960, and sure the casinos were mob run, and they were all independent of each other. By 85, it was more of a corporate feel. Wall Street was coming in. The mob had been selling off their properties to independent corporations who were buying them up, larger land developer type companies, real estate owners. By 1990, Wall Street got in on it, and that is when everything changed. When the Mirage Hotel was built by Steve Wynn changed Vegas forever. Steve Wynn owned the hotel in downtown of Vegas on Fremont Street, the Golden Nugget. He bought the Golden Nugget, and he brought in Frank Sinatra as his house act, and he spiffed that hotel up to the highest standard that Vegas had ever seen. Then he moved one step further and built the Mirage. And with the Mirage built, he hired Siegfried and Roy and built a stage show just for them. And that transformed Vegas forever. And that hotel transformed Vegas forever because that was a 3,000 room hotel with 3 wings going off, and every room had an outside view of one part of the 360-degree view of the entire city of Las Vegas, and it was 30 stories high. That began the big build out. We had the Treasure Island built there. Then he built the Bellagio with the water fountains, changed it forever again. But Steve Wynn ultimately lost all of it. He lost all of his properties when he got bought out by MGM because he had gone public and he was overexposed. He was over leveraged because there was a downturn and he was over leveraged. He got a takeout offer. He had to take it. He walked away with hundreds of millions, but he lost his golden jewels, his Mirage, his Bellagio. He also lost other properties. But then he built the Wynn, the Wynn Casino and the Encore. I think the second one that is Prima. Can't remember the name of it. And MGM built out the MGM property on the corner of Flamingo and the Strip, and then Kitty Corner was the Excalibur, and across the street was New York, New York, and on and on. Up came all these brand new casinos, one after the other. If you have the Luxor, Mandalay Bay, and all the way up and down the Strip, Paris and Rio and on. It's all Wall Street. It is all Wall Street, and MGM owns a huge chunk of all of it. And there's no competition anymore. It was at one time in 85, 86, up until 90, 95, there was the Caesars property. Then there was the Pink Flamingo. They competed for customers, for each other. Then there was the Holiday Inn, or there was the Desert Inn, the Frontier, the Sahara, Circus. They all were independent, separate companies. They all had their own reservation systems. You could dial up and decide where to go. You used to be able to buy weekend charter getaways, leave on Thursday night, come home Sunday night, and it would be like $200 a person. Flight and hotel included, all in, and transportation to and from the airport, all included. You had all kinds of money to gamble with. Now it doesn't work that way. You've got the ridiculous charges for the airport. You got the ridiculous charges for transportation. You've got the hotels with all their fees and the resort fees. We had to pay the resort fee, $35 a day for the resort fee. Oh, by the way, the pool is closed. There's no resort. What do you get for the $35? Internet. That's what I got for $35 a day. The internet, so I could keep being in business. All added on, and the hotel tax in Nevada, the state and the city of Las Vegas taxes jacks it all up to the point where it's just not fun anymore. It's not a cheap getaway anymore. It is now a very expensive holiday. And yeah, there's a lot of people who've never been to Vegas before. They want to go once and they go. But those of us who've been many a time, it's not the same. And it's just, That's how I look at Vegas. I just go, whatever. Vegas, it used to be great, not anymore. Anyway, there you go. Jeannie, I was in Vegas in 86 and 2004. So this is the year to see Vegas again. Every 18 years, I'll pass. Guess that's why they now say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'll tell you, we did see Katy Perry in January. Her show was totally worth it. Sylvia, the Rat Pack, laugh out loud. Ms. M. Bruce has only 58 thumbs ups. Let's go, TW family. Have a good night, everybody. Did you venture outside of the Strip? Not this time. No time. We had no time to venture outside of the Strip. I've the last several years prior to the COVID, Jennifer and I would stay at the Orleans. The room rates were way more reasonable. We just liked the older style of that building, and it reminded us more of the 90s. It was great. It was clean. It was nicely run, but not this time. There were no deals this time at the Orleans. They wanted too much money for what they've got. Not worth the money. What can I say? Things have changed in the old OK Corral. It's just not the same anymore. Now, folks, if you're able to help us out with thumbs ups tonight, I would really, really appreciate it. We would love to get some thumbs ups tonight on the big show. If you could help us out, that would be great. I am showing now, let me see if I've got a count here. I think we have 63 thumbs ups. And I thank you all so much for, 64 now. 64 thumbs ups. 66. Look at that. Thank you for 66. If you're able to hit that thumbs up button for us, get us as close to 100 as humanly possible, that would be terrific. I know the folks who watch the show on the rerun always give us thumbs ups because they are the best as well. And I thank all of you. I know we'll be at 150 to 200 thumbs ups a week from now. But if we could be at 100 tonight, That would be the best. So if you could find it in your heart to throw a free thumbs ups our way, that would be terrific. I would thank you very much. Island Girl just came back from Vegas, never going back. Way too expensive. That add on the Canadian exchange rate. Oh my God. Yes, indeed. You know the funny thing too. Here's goofy stuff. We're checking in, and the room had been prepaid. We'd done a prepaid already through I don't know, like Speedy or whatever it was, and they wanted to get a credit card to hold the room. And Jennifer and I had acquired a prepaid U.S. dollar credit card. This is one of those where you load it up in Canada, and now you just use it whenever you want, and it can work as a debit card or a credit card everywhere you go. We use it at Costco all the time, the grocery stores, and wherever we went. We get to the front desk, and the guy says, we got you this room, blah 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 blah. We want to put a hold on your, we want to put a charge on your card for incidentals and damage to the room. Oh yeah, no problem. Jennifer hands them the card, and they wouldn't accept it because it didn't have a name on it. It's one of these prepaid credit cards, but doesn't have a name on it. They wouldn't accept it. So I said, well, how much you want? I said, well, we need I don't know, it was $300. So it was like a paltry amount of money. I said, well, I'll just give you cash. No, we can't accept cash. I'm thinking, what? This is Las Vegas. What the hell happened to Las Vegas? You don't accept cash at the front desk? Has to be a credit card. Has to be a credit card with a name on it, or we can't accept it. I'm just blown away by this idiocy. Absolute idiocy. They must have, I suppose, incidents where people trash the rooms, and they're going after thousands of dollars, and I guess they can get it on credit cards, and they can't get it any other way. I guess. I really don't know. I was blown away. In the meantime, on the floor of the casino, you must use cash at every machine you sit at. How many of you folks carry cash with you now, where you are, anywhere you are? In Europe, who carries cash anymore? Canada, who pays anything with cash? United States, cash is going by way of the dodo bird. Vegas slot machines, you must have cash. You run out of cash, you're not gambling. How do you get cash now at a casino in Las Vegas? You get to use their in-house ATM machines, which carry at least a $10 charge to withdraw even $50. You want to withdraw $500? It's a charge. Sometimes it's a percentage. It is so anti-customer. It is a blatant ripoff at the source that it turns people off. And of course, if you show up in Vegas with a wad of money in your pocket, you're considered a drug dealer because only drug dealers have cash. But gamblers have no other way to gamble in Vegas. You have to have cash. It is really ridiculous. Absolutely amazing. Actually, we're going back to Vegas in October. Kevin has a conference there. Mr. Penguin, hey, Don. Sharon, Vegas is Kevin's happy place. Bermuda's mine, but I'm not traveling outside the U.S. until COVID restrictions are lifted. Mr. Penguin, hey, Bruce. Robert, great show. Went to Vegas in the early 90s, $500 per person, including the flight and 7 nights at the Mirage. The good old days. Island Girl bought show tickets online and paid $36 in service and processing fees extra. Sylvia, cash is gold. What? Island Girl, 500 milliliters of Fiji water in a mini bar cost $22. I bought a bottle of cola from the store beside the front desk on the second last night we were there. They don't carry Coca-Cola products. They only carry Pepsi. I went to the food court earlier in the day to check to see if they had Coca-Cola at any of the any of the restaurants in the food court. Everybody had Pepsi. I had to buy a 1 liter bottle of Diet Pepsi, $6.75 for a 1 liter bottle of Diet Pepsi. At Albertsons, they're 99 cents each. We had no car. I couldn't walk to a grocery store. The nearest Walgreens was 1.5 miles walk. $20 cab ride. Impossible. It's impossible. The last day we were there, Jennifer and Jennifer Jr. went shopping to one of the fashion malls. They had planned that the whole time. I was doing a couple of shows on the channel, the other channel I have. I went for dinner. I decided I would go find dinner. I wanted to go to that sports bar where we had a really good meal. Not open yet. I was eating about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I had to get dinner in. They were closed. I went to the cafe. I thought, well, I'll go to the cafe for dinner. Closed. So I went to the food court, up the escalator, all the way to the food court. At least 100-yard walk. At least 5 restaurants. Nathan's Hot Dogs, some pizza place, sub place. I'd never heard of the brand before. I came to the pizza place, and they had spaghetti and meatballs. And I thought I'll have spaghetti and meatballs and a diet Pepsi in a large paper container cup. They put it together for me. She rings it up, $21.50 on a paper plate, plastic fork and knives, paper cup with a plastic straw on a tray. $21.50 for spaghetti and meatballs. Vegas is unaffordable for so many people. It is unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Vegas sounds antiquated. Anyway, it was wild. It was very disappointing, very unfortunate. I tried to pay with my debit card. They wouldn't accept it. They couldn't go through the system. Didn't work. I paid cash. I happened to have, luckily enough, I had cash to pay it. It was unbelievable. It was really a downer. It's Vegas. It's unique. It's interesting. It's a happening thing. It's a growing town. It's over. This Sin City is no longer what it once was. It is now an industrial town that warehouses people by the evening, feeds them garbage for the most part, low quality food for the most part, treats them like an assembly line, lineups everywhere you go, lineups to check in, lineups at the Starbucks to get a coffee, line up to get into a restaurant, line up to get into the buffet, line up to get into the coffee shop. It is an industrial town that has lost its charm, its magic, its spirit, its everything. And it was gone 10 years ago, 15 years ago, already gone to 15 years ago, unfortunately. I don't know. I saw a lot of couples there. I don't know how they can afford it. I hear you. Sylvia, 2150. Why the face? Duncan, hey guys, just dropping by, saying hi. Found a Toyota Corolla hybrid today. 52 miles to the gallon. Right on, Duncan. Beautiful job, buddy. Way to go. Amicus, right after I got here, I ordered some spaghetti with Mariana sauce, and I got egg noodles and ketchup. I'm an average nobody. I get to live the rest of my life like a schnook. I know that line from Casino. I know that line from Goodfellas. That's right. I know that line from Goodfellas. Duncan, gas here in Naples, $4.19 a gallon, says Duncan. Island Girl, drivers in Vegas were nuts. Just about got into major crashes 3 times by drivers not paying attention. Unbelievable. Sylvia, it is Sin City. Laugh aloud. It's a sin to charge those prices. They can't carry cash. It's insanity. It is really disappointing. Cops everywhere. Sirens all the time. It's not a quiet place. It's not. The sounds you hear are the ones you don't want to hear. I guess that's what I'm also saying. You don't want to hear the sounds. The other thing I noticed is that you come into the lobby of the Luxor, and you're heading towards the front desk, and a person comes up to you all smiling. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Where are you traveling in from? Oh, welcome to Vegas. Have you got show tickets? We've got great offers on show tickets. What are they? Timeshare salespeople. They're timeshare people. They're trying to suck you in on a presentation for a timeshare. You're trying to get in line, but behind 35 other people to check into your room. You're exhausted. You're stressed out. You just went through the airport experience to get there, and now you get hit up by these guys in the lobby of the hotel. The hotel lets them do it because they get a cut of the action. This is how pathetic it has become. Absolutely pathetic. The mob would never allow that. They would never have allowed that to be done. Never would any kind of outside agency would never made a deal with these guys. Not a chance. The mob would have 40 people at that check-in desk. Why? Because Every second you're standing there with your suitcase, you are not gambling on a slot machine. Every second that 1,000 people aren't gambling on the floor is thousands of dollars up in the air, wasted. Every second counts. You've got to get these people to the front desk. You got to get them checked in. You got to get the bellman to take the bag to the room and then let them go to the floor now. Go gamble and go to your room in an hour. Play a few slot machines for a while. And here's some house money. Here's $10 in coupons. Go and enjoy and use this $10 on the floor of the casino as a welcome gift, or a $50 or a $100 gift. These firms used to be proactive in getting you to do what you wanted to do. What do you want to do when you go to Vegas? I want to play in a slot machine for a while. They would get you in front of a slot machine as quickly as humanly possible, and the waitress would be there with a free drink. And I'm not talking about a Diet Pepsi in a 4-ounce glass that's full of cold ice and has 2 ounces of Pepsi in it. We're talking about an 8 to 10 ounce glass of soda, if you want, or a beer, or your drink would be in a 6-ounce glass. Service, service, service. You are tipping those gals right now $2 for that drink because it's worth a $2 tip. You are being asked every 5-10 minutes, would you like another drink, another drink? Service galore. Today, it's all industrial. You can't find the gal who serves drinks. You're lucky if you see her every half hour. You are lucky if you can see her. There are so few of them around. It is totally different. Complete destruction of what Vegas used to be. It's really sad and pathetic. Duncan, everyone needs to just stop traveling, stop paying the high price and their demands. Just say no. Amicus, the first 100 is credit. Sylvia, 74 thumbs ups. Keep them coming. Thank you, everybody. Island Girl spotted the timeshare people a mile away. Didn't approach very young couples, but people who were in their 50s were targets. Yeah, Ada in Newburgh, New York, $4.50 a gallon. Unbelievable prices. Oh yeah, Vegas has gone completely downhill in many respects, but the service aspect, it's over, absolutely over. There was a time where you'd be in playing a slot machine, you'd be playing the dollar slots, and you've been there for an hour playing a dollar slot machine. A casino host would be coming to you, and they'd be offering you freebies. They're hoping that you have a card, that you're part of the program, and then they would ask you what kind of room you're staying in, and you tell them you're in the basic room. They'd upgrade you because they don't want you to leave. They want you to be happy. You're playing dollar slots. You're not a nickel slotter. You're a dollar slotter. That doesn't exist. I could not find signage in Luxor for the slot services area. Where you'd have this casino host. I couldn't find casino host area anywhere. I couldn't find it. I wasn't actively looking for it. I couldn't find it. I couldn't have cared less. I didn't have a card to put into the slot machine. I wasn't going to put a card into the slot machine because they didn't deserve my business. So I just played $20 worth and walked to another machine, put in $20 and walked. I didn't make them any money. No, it was very, very disappointing. Really a downer. The last time I cared about being part of a casino host's program was at the Bellagio. But this was back in 2000, like 1997 to 2000, when we lived in the Cayman Islands. Jennifer and I, we traveled. That's right. We moved from the Cayman Islands to Palm Desert, and then maybe twice a year we'd go to Vegas, and we'd get our daughter dropped off at a friend's for a weekend, and she'd have a great time with a girlfriend for a weekend getaway, and we would go to Vegas for the weekend, and we would stay at the Bellagio, and I would get free rooms because we gambled enough to stay at the Bellagio, but. We had our host at that time. I'd visit with the host, and the host would make sure you get free buffets. Those $45 buffets, you don't pay for that. Charge it to your room, and I'll take it off at the end of at the end of your stay. Charge everything in the hotel to your room, and then come and see me the night before you take off, and we'll get everything credited. And that's how that game worked. So I'd rack up $800 in room charges. He'd take $650 off, and he'd say, the casino, the spa, I can't knock off the spa, but I can knock off everything else. Great, fantastic. So Jen and I would pay for our spa treatments, but everything else we wouldn't have to pay for. Those were the days, but that was the last of it. It's over. It's over. Jeannie, thanks for your Vegas trip recap. I don't feel bad about never going back. I'd always said someone should go once. Glad I was there in the good old days. Amicus, those timeshare sees people getting punched like those religious guys from Airplane. Duncan, if you buy timeshare, make sure your name is on a deed. Massive Chase, I just farted, Bruce. Thank you for coming out, buddy. Thank you all for being here tonight, hanging out with us. It was nice to have you here, except for the last guy. I lost my phone in the casino at the Bellagio this week. Was in a panic for an hour. Thankfully, someone turned it in. Lost and found. Meanwhile, my hubby lost a $50 casino coupon in a panic. Unbelievable. We couldn't make it to Bellagio this time. We just had no time for it. Was unable to do it. But it's changed too. I mean, it has also changed. It is now an MGM property. It's not its own unique Steve Wynn. When it was a Steve Wynn property, it was all different. It was all different. I used to get invites to slot tournaments all the time. And it would be one of these, come on down Thursday night, spend Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night with us, free. We'll put you in a nice room. And it was. All meals included. Breakfast, dinner, all included, slot tournament included, prizes galore, and enjoy yourself. And all they wanted us to do was that the slot tournament was one of these where you would gamble on whatever machines you wanted to gamble on. The whole floor was yours. Your card would be registered into the contest. And for every so many points you racked up on the machines, because the more you bet, the more points you get. So many points would get you a ticket, and you would rack up tickets and tickets and tickets, all electronically. And at the end of the tournament, you would go to the conference room, the big conference room, and there they have all these tables laid out. There'd be like 1,000 of us in there, 1,000 participants in this contest. And if you racked up 10 tickets, 20 tickets, 50 tickets, 200 tickets, however many it was, they would all go into a drum. Physically, these tickets would go into a drum, and they would pull out names for prizes. And the more tickets you had, the better your chances to win prizes. And you got a minimum. You automatically, when you got there, they would give you this. There would be this huge box, and it would be lined up with envelopes, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. And they say, take out any envelope you want, and what's ever in that envelope is yours. It was really cool. So you're reaching and you pull out a letter, you pull out an envelope, and they say, open it up. And you'd open up the envelope, and it'd be $150 in cash. That's yours. You just won $150. Oh, this is great. And then you'd go over to the other part of the table, and they would give you a gift for coming out. So you'd get some kind of a gift. I think once we got a beautiful, gorgeous plate of some kind. Really nice. Then you go into the hall. By the way, they hold your plate for you in a holding area. You'd pick it up later on the way out. You go into the dining hall, and you and a guest would go in. Jennifer and I would go in together and have dinner, a beautiful dinner, salad and like a soup, a salad, a main course, a dessert, and then they pull out the tickets. And you get to the point where they pull out. I think what they did is they went in reverse order, so that the first person out would get so much money, and then the next 50 people would get more and more and more and more. And then eventually they pull out the last 10 tickets, and they would name the persons for these 10. And you'd come up on the stage, and you would all be handed an envelope. Like you could all take an envelope, this big brown envelope. You had to hold on to it. And you all stood there. And then they'd say, okay, number 10, open up your envelope. And the prizes were $1,000 to $20,000, anywhere from in between that level. One person won the big one, and then the second prize was 10 grand, and the third prize was 5 grand, and then it was like 4, 3, 2, all that sort of stuff. And so it was really exciting. None of us left the room. We'd all want to see who won the big one. And so there's like 35, 40 grand being handed out, 50 grand being handed out in front of you right there. It was a really neat show. It was a lot of fun, and it was really, they really appreciated us because we were regulars. We came out all the time, and this was their gift to us for coming out. Now, I can tell you that the gambling you did for those 3 days to get all those points more than paid for the whole tournament. Believe me, they did not lose money. But there were people with 500 tickets. I thought I would do well when I had 25 tickets. There are people making cranking 500 tickets. They were cranking hundreds of thousands in bets because they're betting on the $25 machines, $25 a spin. I'm doing a $1 machine. I'm doing $3 at a time, trying to get cherries and double bars. I used to love playing Wheel of Fortune machine, the $1 Wheel of Fortune, because the top prize was 1,000, but you would always get 100 if you got the Wheel of Fortune, minimum 100, minimum $100. Always fun. But those were the days when Vegas was really a lot of fun. It was a lot. It was very cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, everybody. From Sharon, Duncan, you take care. Debbie, thanks, Bruce, for the great show. I have cousins that live in Vegas, and I did not know all about how much Vegas has changed. It is really, really different. Everyone, have a great evening. We'll see you here next week for the big show. Look forward to catching up with you. Thank you for those of you who were able to give us a thumbs up tonight. If you hit that thumbs up button for me, I do appreciate it very much. We are thankful for that. If you're watching on a rerun, please hit it again. And we'll see you all next Monday. Stay healthy in the meantime. Stay well. And we'll catch you a week from today. All right, guys. Bye for now.